In the quiet suburbs of San Diego, California, where the sun baked the streets and the ocean breeze carried the salty tang of the sea, lay the sprawling grounds of Naval Base Coronado. It was a place where discipline ruled, and the echoes of boots on pavement mixed with the distant roar of jets. But lately, a shadow hung over the K-9 unit. Max, a massive German shepherd with a coat as black as night and eyes that burned with untamed fire, had become a legend for all the wrong reasons. He was the rogue K-9 no one could handle. Max had served faithfully for years, sniffing out explosives and protecting his handler, Sergeant Mike Harlan, on dangerous missions overseas. But when Mike was killed in action 6 months ago, something broke inside Max. He turned wild, snapping at anyone who came near, refusing commands and even injuring a few trainers. The base commanders were at their wits' end. They talked about putting him down, but Max's record as a hero dog made that a hard choice. Word spread through the ranks. The dog was a lost cause. That's when Alina Ramirez stepped in. Alina was a Navy SEAL veteran, one of the first women to make it through the grueling training. At 32, she had a lean build honed by years of pushing her body to the limit, dark hair pulled back in a tight ponytail, and eyes that held the weight of battles seen and won. She had returned from her last deployment with a purple heart and a quiet strength that few understood. Now she was assigned to the base's K-9 rehabilitation program, a last-ditch effort to save dogs like Max. Alina arrived on a warm Monday morning, her truck pulling up to the kennels amid a group of male handlers gathered around, sipping coffee and trading stories. They were tough guys, veterans themselves, with scars and tattoos that told tales of their own. But when Alina stepped out, wearing her crisp uniform, the chatter stopped. Then the whispers started. "Look at that," muttered Corporal Jenkins, a burly man with a mustache that hid his smirk. "They sent a girl to tame the beast. What's next? Knitting classes for the dogs." The others chuckled. Sergeant Hale, the unit leader, crossed his arms and shook his head. "Ramirez, right, heard about you. SEAL training's tough, but this ain't some obstacle course. Max has put 3 men in the hospital. You sure you're up for this?" Alina met his gaze steadily, her voice calm but firm. "I've faced worse than a dog with a broken heart, Sergeant. Let's see what he's got." The men exchanged glances, their laughter barely hidden. One of them, Private Ortiz, leaned in. "Hey, sweetheart, if you need help carrying your gear, just holler. Wouldn't want you to break a nail." Alina's jaw tightened, but she didn't snap back. She had heard it all before, during Bud's training on deployments, even from her own family back in Texas. They saw her size, her gender, and assumed weakness. But inside, she burned with a fire that had carried her through hell. She ignored them and walked toward the kennel where Max paced like a caged storm. The dog growled low as she approached, his hackles raised, teeth bared in a snarl that sent chills down spines. The handlers watched from a safe distance, betting among themselves how long she'd last. Alina knelt slowly, her eyes locking with Max's. "Easy, boy," she whispered. "I know what it's like to lose someone." Flashbacks hit her then, memories of her team in Afghanistan, the explosion that took her best friend, the nights she woke up sweating from nightmares. She pushed them down, focusing on the dog. Max lunged at the chain-link fence, barking furiously. The men laughed again. "Give it up, Ramirez," Hale called. "He's not worth the trouble." But Alina didn't move. She sat there for hours that first day, just talking softly, offering treats he refused. By evening, her knees ached and the sun had dipped low, casting long shadows over the base. The handlers left for dinner, shaking their heads. "She's crazy," Jenkins said. "Dog's gonna eat her alive." That night, alone in her barracks, Alina stared at the ceiling. Doubt crept in, not about Max, but about the endless fight to prove herself. Why did she always have to be twice as good just to be seen as equal? Tears stung her eyes, but she wiped them away. Tomorrow, she'd try again. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a bond that would change everything. As the days turned into a week, Alina's routine became a spectacle. She'd arrive at dawn, armed with patience and a plan. Max still resisted, but she noticed small things. How his ears perked when she spoke Mike's name, how he watched her from the corner of his eye. The mockery continued, notes left on her locker calling her dog Whisper Barbie, snide comments during briefings. Even the base commander, Colonel Briggs, a stern man in his 50s, pulled her aside. "Ramirez, I admire your grit, but we can't afford accidents. If that dog doesn't shape up soon, we're done." Alina nodded, hiding the frustration boiling inside. She sacrificed her free time, skipping meals to study K-9 behavior books, practicing techniques late into the night. One evening, as rain poured down, she sat outside Max's kennel, soaked to the bone. "I get it, Max," she said. "The world's unfair, but we don't give up." Slowly the dog stopped lunging. He sat, watching her with wary eyes. The handlers noticed but dismissed it. "Luck," they said, but Alina felt a spark, a connection born from shared pain. She knew this was her chance to show them all. By the end of the week, during a training session, Max took a treat from her hand without biting. The men fell silent for a moment, then Hale grunted. "Beginner's luck. Wait till he turns on her." Alina smiled inwardly. Let them doubt. She'd prove them wrong, one step at a time. But deeper challenges awaited, ones that would test her heart and reveal secrets buried on the base. The sun rose over Naval Base Coronado, painting the suburban skyline in hues of orange and gold. Alina Ramirez had been at it for 2 weeks now, and the whispers among the handlers had shifted from outright mockery to grudging curiosity. Max, the rogue K-9, still growled at most people, but with Alina there was a change. He no longer charged the fence when she approached. Instead, he paced, his tail giving the slightest wag. Alina started her days early, before the base buzzed with activity. She jogged the perimeter, clearing her mind, then head to the kennels with a backpack full of tools, leashes, toys, and high-value treats. The small-town feel of the area, with its neat houses and palm trees lining the streets, made the base feel like a world apart, a bubble of order amid everyday life. But inside, tension simmered. One morning, as Alina clipped a leash on Max for their first walk, Sergeant Hale watched with arms crossed. "Careful, Ramirez. Last guy who tried that ended up with stitches." She ignored him, focusing on Max. The dog tensed but followed her out, his muscles rippling under his fur. They walked the training field, Alina speaking in a steady voice. "Good boy, Max, that's it." Flashbacks hit her again, her SEAL missions, the trust she built with her team, the betrayal when a superior doubted her during a critical op. She had saved lives that day, but the doubt lingered like a scar. The handlers gathered, betting pools forming. $10 she gets bit by noon, Jenkins said, laughing. But Max didn't bite. He walked beside her, alert but calm. Alina felt a rush of hope. This was progress. That afternoon, during obedience drills, Max sat on command for the first time. The men muttered, but Alina saw jealousy in their eyes. Why her? What did she have that they didn't? As the bond grew, so did the injustice. During a unit meeting, Colonel Briggs praised the team's efforts but singled out Alina. "Ramirez is making headway, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Women in combat roles, it's new territory. We need results, not experiments." The words stung like a slap. Alina's face burned, but she held her tongue. Later, in the mess hall, Ortiz cornered her. "Heard the colonel. Maybe you should stick to desk work, eh? Leave the real handling to us." Alina set her tray down hard. "I've bled for this country, same as you. Back off." He backed away, but the damage was done. That night, Alina confided in her journal, words spilling out about the exhaustion of constant proving. But she pushed on, sacrificing sleep to train Max in secret sessions. She learned his triggers, the sound of loud noises that reminded him of explosions, the scent of certain colognes like Mike's. One rainy evening, a breakthrough came. Max lay down beside her during a storm, his head on her lap as thunder rolled. Tears welled in Alina's eyes. "We're in this together, boy." But shadows loomed. She overheard Hale and Jenkins talking about cutting corners in the K-9 program, something about falsified reports on dog retirements. It nagged at her, but she focused on Max. Weeks passed and Max transformed. He obeyed commands, even protected Alina during mock threats. The base buzzed with talk, but jealousy turned ugly. Someone tampered with Max's food, making him sick. Alina nursed him through the night, her heart aching. "Who would do this?" she whispered. Suspicion fell on Jenkins, but no proof. Hale dismissed it as an accident. Alina's resolve hardened. She trained harder, pushing Max and herself. During a demonstration, Max performed flawlessly, but Briggs credited the team, not her. "Good work, men," he said, ignoring Alina. The injustice fueled her. She began investigating quietly, noticing discrepancies in records. Mike's death report seemed off, hints of negligence. Was the base hiding something? Max sensed her tension, staying close. By month's end, Alina and Max were inseparable. He slept in her quarters now, a special allowance. But the mockery persisted in subtle ways: locked equipment, delayed supplies. Alina sacrificed friendships, isolating herself. Her strength shone through small acts, helping a young recruit, standing up to bullies. One night as she walked Max under the stars, he alerted to a noise. They found a hidden stash, explosives missing from inventory. Alina's heart raced. This was bigger than she thought. Reporting it could expose corruption, but it meant risking everything. The handlers watched her warily now. "She's stirring trouble," Hale said, but Alina pressed on, her journey deepening. Justice was calling, and with Max by her side, she was ready to answer. The suburban calm of San Diego masked the storm brewing at Naval Base Coronado. Alina Ramirez and Max had become a team, his once rogue spirit now channeled into fierce loyalty. But as their bond strengthened, so did the obstacles. Alina's days blurred into a rhythm of training, investigation, and quiet battles against doubt. Mornings started with runs along the base's edge, where neat houses gave way to training fields. Max loped beside her, his ears alert. Alina felt alive, her emotional walls cracking as she shared stories with him. "You remind me of my brother, Max, always protective." Her brother had died young, leaving her to care for their family. That loss had forged her strength, pushing her into the SEALs. But the mockery evolved into sabotage. During a high-stakes drill, someone loosened Max's harness. He slipped free mid-exercise, causing chaos. Alina calmed him quickly, but Briggs reprimanded her. "Sloppy work, Ramirez. This reflects on you." She knew it wasn't her fault. Jenkins smirked from the sidelines. "Told you she couldn't handle it." Alina's anger simmered, but she channeled it into progress. She trained Max in advanced skills, sent detection, protection maneuvers. He excelled, his trust in her absolute. Flashbacks to her deployments haunted her. The injustice of being overlooked for promotions, the sacrifice of leaving loved ones behind. "We earn our place," she told Max. Investigating deeper, Alina pored over records in the dim light of her barracks. She found anomalies: dogs retired early, funds misallocated. Mike's death tied into it, a faulty vest overlooked by Hale. Was it negligence or cover-up? Max whined, sensing her distress. One afternoon, during a base event, the injustice peaked. Families gathered for a K-9 demo. Alina and Max performed brilliantly, drawing applause. But when awards were given, Hale took credit. "My training methods paid off," he boasted. Alina bit her lip, tears of frustration hidden. Later, Ortiz taunted her. "Face it, Chica, you'll always be the token." That broke something. Alone with Max, she cried, her strong facade crumbling. "Why fight when they never see me?" Max nuzzled her, his warmth a reminder of why she persisted. Sacrifice defined her journey. She skipped visits home, poured savings into Max's care. Her emotional growth showed in vulnerability, opening up to a fellow female officer about her doubts. "It hurts, but I won't quit." As truths emerged, Alina confronted Hale privately. "I know about the reports. Mike deserved better." He laughed it off. "Mind your business, Ramirez." But Max growled, backing her up. Tension mounted. During a night patrol, they stumbled on Jenkins burying documents. A chase ensued, Max tackling him. Evidence surfaced: embezzlement, safety cuts for profit. Briggs called a meeting dismissing Alina's claims. No proof, but she had photos, logs. The men closed ranks, labeling her a troublemaker. Alina's heart ached with betrayal. She trained relentlessly, Max her anchor. In a moment of peace, they watched the sunset, her hand on his fur. "We'll get justice, boy." The base whispered of her obsession. But Alina's strength grew, her redemption nearing. A twist loomed, one that would shock them all. Naval Base Coronado's suburban facade cracked under mounting pressure. Alina Ramirez pushed forward, her bond with Max unbreakable. But the weight of injustice threatened to crush her. Days filled with drills, nights with sleepless worry. Alina uncovered more. Hale and Jenkins profited from selling gear, cutting corners that killed Mike. She gathered evidence quietly, Max her silent partner. During searches, he'd alert to hidden spots, his nose unerring. The mockery turned hostile. Lockers vandalized, tires slashed. "Go home, SEAL girl," notes read. Alina's emotional armor held, but cracks showed. She called her mother, voice breaking. "Mama, it's hard, they don't see me." "Mihija, you're stronger than they know," came the reply. Sacrifice deepened. Alina skipped therapy sessions for her PTSD, focusing on the fight. Max sensed it, staying vigilant. In training, they shone, Max disarming a mock bomber flawlessly. Spectators murmured approval, but Hale undermined it. Luck, not skill. A crisis hit, a real threat. Intel warned of a base intruder smuggling explosives. Briggs assigned teams, sidelining Alina. "Too risky for you." Insulted, she fumed. "I've handled worse in combat." He ignored her, but that night alarms blared. The intruder struck. Chaos erupted, gunfire, shouts. Alina grabbed Max, defying orders. "We can help." They tracked the scent through shadows, Max leading. Heart pounding, Alina recalled her SEAL ops, the fear, the focus. They cornered the man in a warehouse. He fired. Alina dodged, Max lunging to disarm him. Backup arrived, but Hale claimed the capture. "My plan worked." Alina's rage boiled. In the aftermath, she confronted Briggs with evidence. Hale's corruption caused this. Mike died because of it. Proof in hand, documents, recordings. The room fell silent. Jenkins confessed under pressure, exposing the scheme. But twists came. Hale had framed Alina, planting evidence in her quarters. A search revealed it. "She's the thief," he accused. Betrayed, Alina stood tall. "Test it, my prints aren't there." Investigation cleared her, but the emotional toll hit. Alone, she broke down, Max comforting her. "We almost lost everything." Her journey peaked in resilience. She testified, sacrificing anonymity for truth. The base watched, respect dawning. As arrests loomed, Alina's strength inspired others. A young handler approached. "You showed us how." Redemption neared, but the final twist awaited. The air at Naval Base Coronado hummed with anticipation as the investigation wrapped. Alina Ramirez stood firm, Max at her side, his presence a shield against the storm. The suburban base, once a place of doubt, now buzzed with change. Alina's sacrifices culminated, lost sleep, strained relationships, emotional scars, but her growth shone from underestimated soldier to beacon of strength. She addressed the unit, voice steady. "I fought for justice, not glory." Briggs, humbled, admitted faults. "Ramirez, you saved us all." The men who mocked her now nodded in respect. Jenkins apologized, head low. "I was wrong." Hale's trial exposed depths. He had sabotaged Mike's gear for insurance fraud, covering tracks with lies. The twist hit hard. Hale was Mike's brother-in-law, driven by greed over family. Shock rippled through the base. Alina, learning this, felt a mix of anger and pity. "How could you?" she asked in court. His confession broke him. Jealousy, Mike was the hero. Justice served. Hale imprisoned, program reformed. Alina earned a commendation, Max honored as a hero. The rogue K9, tamed by her kindness, became a symbol. In a powerful close, Alina adopted Max, retiring him to a quiet life. At a ceremony, the crowd cheered. "You shocked us all," Briggs said. Alina smiled, petting Max. "We did it together." As they walked into the sunset, respect earned, truth exposed, Alina's journey ended in triumph. A satisfying twist of redemption for the underestimated warrior.